All right, Math 1, this is our homework help video. It says consider the graph of each function. These are all quadratic functions because quadratic functions graph U-shaped lines. Quadratic functions graph parabolas. They graph U-shaped lines or parabolas. A parabola, by definition, is either an upward U or a downward U, not a sideways U. So quadratic functions either graph parabolas, upward U's or downward U's. Parabolas are not sideways. Okay? All right, so we are identifying the vertex, the domain, the range, the axis of symmetry, the x and the y intercepts by looking at the graphs. Okay, so let's look at it. Very first one, the vertex is going to be either the highest or the lowest point. For the first one, this is the highest point right here. So this is the maximum value. And that max value or the vertex is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Y'all understand how I got that vertex? Oh, y'all are late. Yo, shh, I'm recording, so be quiet. All right. Any questions about how I found the vertex? The domain is going to be how wide the parabola is. The parabola, whether it's going upward or downward, is going to get wider and wider because it never ends. So it's always going to be all real numbers. The range is going to be how tall. You put wide here, height here. From the ground on up. Well, from the ground, it never ends. So you got from negative infinity, and it stops right up here on the y-axis at positive 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's between negative infinity and positive 4, less than equal to. The only reason why we're not putting an equal to here is because infinity never ends. So you never put an equal sign beside an infinity. It never ends. So you just put less than, but over here you put less than equal to because it goes all the way up to 4. The axis of symmetry is that invisible line that cuts the parabola in half. This invisible line that cuts the parabola in half is always going to be a vertical line, so it's always going to be x is equal to. What line is this on the x-axis? 0. So the axis of symmetry is x is equal to 0. The x-intercepts are where the parabola crosses the x-axis. The parabola crosses the x-axis here and here. This ordered pair is -1, -2, 0. And this ordered pair is +1, +2, 0. Those are the x-intercepts. Okay. Any questions? The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. It crosses the y-axis up here at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Our y-intercept is 0, 4. Okay, I'm going to pause for the calls and see if you can answer number 2 on your own. Let's go over it and see what we got. The vertex is either the minimum or the maximum point of a line. It can't both be a high and a low point if it's a parabola. Let's look at this parabola. Does the parabola have a low point or a high point? Low. So this is our low point or minimum smallest value. That's the vertex. What ordered pair is that? -1 and -1. Any questions about how to find the vertex?
-1 and 1.
Positive one. Positive one and negative one is what it is. The domain is how wide the parabola is. Because this domain is going to just continue on forever and ever. It has arrows at the end. It's going to get wider infinite number of times. It's going to keep going on forever. So the width of it is going to be all real numbers. It's always going to be, for a domain of a quadratic function, it's always going to be all real numbers. Any questions? Okay. The height from the lowest point, from the bottom of the graph to the highest part of the graph. Always start from the bottom. The bottom of the graph, the lowest point goes from here at -1, and the arrows end forever and ever to the positive infinity. Put y in the middle. Less than, equal to, less than. I don't put an equal to beside infinity because infinity goes on forever. It never ends. It's no equal to there. So it's less than, equal to, less than. Any questions? It's between this. Starts here, goes up here. Always go from the bottom to the highest. Why was this negative infinity here? Because the graph was upside down. The parabola was upside down. You start from the bottom, it's negative infinity. It never ends. So you went from bottom to top. Negative infinity all the way up to the highest point, which is +4. This one started from -1 on the bottom to positive infinity to the top. Axis of symmetry is that invisible line that cuts the parabola in half. It's always going to be a vertical line. So it's always going to be x is equal to something. So the invisible line is going through, always goes through the vertex. That invisible line is going to be x is equal to a +1. This is the line that cuts the parabola in half. The equation for that line is x is equal to 1. The x-intercepts are where the parabola, or is where the parabola crosses the x-axis. This is the x-axis. The parabola crosses the x-axis here, and it crosses the x-axis here. This point is 0, 0. And this point is 1, 2, 0. Y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. This is the y-axis right here. It crosses the y-axis at 0, 0. See if you can do the third one on your own. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do the bottom part. Okay, so let's do the bottom. You need your calculator for this. You're going to write the quadratic function, the equation for the tables. So you're going to do quadratic reg in the calculator. To do quadratic reg in the calculator, let's first clear the calculator at second plus 7, 1, 2. If you need to clear all of it, second plus 7, all 1, 2. It's resetting everything. Okay? So now, first thing, we're going to go to stat to type in the x values under L1, the y values under L2. So go. Stat. Oh. Got stat. Edit. Is he still there? Okay. So we got x values here. -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Type in our x values. Everybody got your x values typed in yet? We're still typing. Allison, we still typing? Okay. Parker, you get it? Go over arrow over, type in the y values. Got it? You got it? Now we're going to go to stat. We'll go over to calc. And instead of doing lean reg or expo reg, we're going to do quad reg. Right here. You see it? Press enter and press enter again. So it's giving you what the A is, what the B is, and what the C is. So here we have y is equal to, our A is -1, negative x squared. Then we got 6, -6 for B, and -8 for C. This is the equation. Remember, quadratic formula is y is equal to ax plus b, ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay. Any questions? You got it? Okay. All right, let's do number 5. Stat, edit. To clear the numbers out, we go all the way up to the top, press clear, all the way up to the top, press clear. Now we're going to type in the x values. Who's that, y'all? Okay. Can you open the door? Oops.
I bet y'all to come a little quicker knowing I had donuts.
They was just looking.
I guess your kids don't want donuts. Never mind.
Y'all want donuts or no?
Who wants donuts?
Yeah, they want
Who
donuts.
does not want a donut? Okay. There's only 5 donuts. Who's willing to give up a donut? Okay, Mia, come up here and you can have cookies. You like cookies? You want chocolate chip or you want no, they're M&M and sugar. You like Snicker bars? You want Skittles? Come have Skittles. Okay, there's 5 of them.
Y'all want it? Go get your donut. Y'all were just looking? Poor thing. What do you do to get the answer here? After you type it in, what do you go to get the equation? Stat. Okay. Quad reg. It's right under lean reg, so it's easy. And then press enter. Okay, so just round that off. You don't need all them numbers. Let's do 2 spaces behind the decimal. Okay, so if we're doing 2 spaces behind the decimal, this is y is equal to 0.14 x squared plus 0.45 x plus 0.48. Is that what y'all got?
Yeah.
All right, or we can round this to 0.49.
Yo, chill. Oh, it's so stupid.
Shh, now do the last one on your own, okay?
Okay.
All right.